name's Angie, and I'm going to take you through a gentle movement practice for pre-bedtime routine. So what you'll want to do is create your space that's nice and calming and quiet if possible, warm if possible, and also a few props nearby if you have them. So I have a blanket and I have 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, you could use books, you could use water bottles, or even little stools or the side of a couch. Or if you don't have them, you can do this without it as well. So we'll just start to come into a tabletop position. So having your hands just underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Just start to take a few deep breaths while feeling your hands, your fingertips, your knees, and the tops of your feet pressing into the mat. Let your breath get nice and big. So you're breathing into your belly, letting it fall towards the floor. And as you exhale, just gently drawing your belly up. And you don't have to do a big contraction here. It's more of just the reaction to your breath. Now start to feel your ribs moving as well. So you inhale, they expand outward. And as you exhale, they gently come inwards. So thinking of it again, more like a retraction rather than a contraction or adding tension to the breath. So on your next inhale, start to drop your belly down, lift your tailbone and look up. And as you exhale, tuck your tail, arch through the spine, and tuck your chin. Inhale, start to lift your tailbone, drop your belly, look up. And as you exhale, tuck your tail, arch through the spine, tuck your chin. So moving with your own breath, let's go for about 3 more cycles. Try to make your movement as easy as possible. So rather than thinking of how big can you go, think about how easy can you go. And sometimes going easy can actually be harder than going big. So as we're moving towards bedtime, it's all about bringing that calming and relaxing atmosphere inside your body. So moving a little bit slower than maybe you would in the morning or midday. Moving a little bit smoother and adding a really nice rhythm with your breath. So inhaling, drop the belly, look up. And as you exhale, we'll start to take this into hip circles. So starting to tuck your tail, arch your spine, draw your bum back towards your heels. Then inhale forward, coming into cow, breathing in, exhaling, coming back. You can make this circle as big or as small as you like, or even go back to the cat-cow. And switch directions. Stay with your breath. If your attention wanders out off your mat, just bring it back. Each time you notice that it's gone. And coming back to a neutral table, take a big breath in, let your belly drop, ribs expand. Exhale, let that gentle retraction happen. Good. So we'll reach the right foot forward between your hands. We're coming into a low lunge. And we'll just wiggle the front ankle so it's right underneath your knee. So you can kind of inch it forward if you need to. And then dropping down through the pelvis. So at this point, if you have the props of blocks, you can add them in to bring your hands on, or water bottles, or even rest your hands up on a couch or a bench. And a couple deep breaths here. And we'll take it back into a half Hanuman. So you can just reach back, start to flex your foot, pressing your heel down into the mat. You can keep your hands forward or bring them back or onto blocks. You can also actually sit back onto your heel if you want. So as you're pressing down into the heel, you're going to draw your foot back as if you're trying to drag it on the mat. So again, not full intensity gripping and bracing, but try easy. And we'll come back forward into the low lunge, dropping through the pelvis. You can lift up through the chest, breathing in. And exhale, come back. And inhale, come forward. And exhale, come back. And how far back you go is up to you. You can do a smaller movement or a bigger, but again, let that your breath and how easy it is be your guide, rather than thinking you need to fit into a certain shape. And bring your hands now into the inside of your foot. You're just going to wiggle it over to the side of it. So now we're into a little bit of a lizard kind of pose. Taking a couple deep breaths. And pressing back into this half Hanuman lizard kind of variation. So your legs out to the side a little bit. And then coming forward, inhaling, and exhaling, coming back. And stay within a range of motion that's comfortable for you, easy. So the reason we're focusing on easy is because it allows your nervous system to kind of shift into the parasympathetic, which is that rest and relax, rather than the sympathetic, which is the fight or flight. So we want to give the signal to your body that it's okay to relax. So if this is too intense, you just do it smaller or less. And we'll wiggle our foot back into center. Walk your hands up onto your thigh. And we'll come into a side bend. So the option here is just to lean towards the right side. You're bending through the spine. And then option to add on that arm overhead. That arm overhead might bring in some bracing or tension into the torso, so if it does, just leave it by your side. And we'll take 3 more big breaths. And coming back to center. Bring your hands back to the ground or to your blocks and step back into your table. Just taking a moment to feel both sides of your body, left and right, and front and back. Okay, let's take the left foot forward between the hands. Coming into the low lunge, you can drop through the pelvis. Wiggle your front foot forward so the ankle is right underneath your knee, and then holding for a few cycles of breath. And breath is super powerful for getting into that parasympathetic nervous system. The focus on breath can hold your attention, can relax the muscles you're trying to relax. And it can also focus your thoughts, your attention. Let's take it back into half Hanuman. You can use your blocks here or not. So flexing your foot, pressing your heel into the mat, and then drawing it back if that's there for you. And coming forward into the low lunge. And then we'll move with our breath. So inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back. Now make this movement the right size for you. Into our lizard variation, we'll just wiggle the foot over to the edge of the mat, hands on the inside, and sinking down, relaxing for 3 deep breaths. See if on the exhale, you can feel your body get heavier as you're letting go of any tension that's built up over the day. And a lot of us, a lot of you, a lot of me, may have a lot more to do during the day. So you may feel that kind of landing in your body. Okay, let's add the movement. So inhaling forward, exhaling, taking it back. Inhale forward, exhale, take it back. Let's do 2 more. Maybe 1 more. Back to table. And feel right side, left side, front hands, and back knees. Okay, come onto your bum with your legs out in front. So option to lift your bum up here if you want. You can slide a blanket underneath your butt or a pillow. We're going to take the right leg in. So option to just hold it here, or you can bring it right across your thigh. Then bringing your hands underneath your chin, twist towards the right. And option here to stay like this, or you can grab onto your thigh and bring your right hand to the base of your spine. Alternately, you can also bind. So if as you came across here, your elbow reached across, you can bind with the elbow to knee. Inhale and lift up through the crown of your head, staying nice and long through your spine. And as you exhale, feel your obliques, giving your abdomen a nice hug in that twist. You can take your gaze over your right shoulder, or just keep it straight out to the side. Let's take 2 more big breaths here. Make sure you can feel your breath through your abdomen and through your ribs. And then come back to center. Straighten the right leg, take the left leg in, either by your side or crossed over. Hands at heart center, twist towards the left, and option for the bind or hand to knee, taking the left hand to the base of your spine. Inhale, getting nice and long through your spine. As you exhale, twist. A gentle massage of the obliques. feel the breath through your belly, through the ribs. If you can't, you're twisting a little bit too much. So try a little easier. And one more breath here. And come back to center. Next pose is called rabbit pose. So for rabbit, you're going to come onto your knees and bring your head to the ground. So I'll show you a couple variations. The first one is you want the top of the head down on the ground, and then your hands can come behind your head and hold it in. So you're kind of pressing down with your arms and rounding through the back. So this is option one. Option two, if you want a little more intensity, is bringing the crown of your head towards your knees. So if the crown of your head goes towards your knees, you can bring it closer, and then curling your toes under, grab onto your heels. So in either variation, as you come into it, you want to try and bring your hips towards your knees. So stretching through the back, through the shoulder blades. So here's with the foot grab, and here with the hands. So we'll hold for about 4 more cycles of breath, but you feel free to come out at any time. What can you do to make this easier? Either adding breath, pushing less, like gravity do some of the work. And slowly bring your bum back towards your heels. We'll come into a child's pose. You can take your arms by your side. And bring your attention to your breath, breathing into your back ribs. So can you feel the expansion of your ribs where they connect to your spine? On your exhale, allow your body to completely let go and be really heavy. Okay, slowly come up. Legs up the wall. We bring our legs up the wall. So to get in, just sitting sideways next to the wall, bring your hands behind you, and then kind of pivot on your bum to reach your legs up. So your bum does not need to be touching the wall. Your bum can be any distance from the wall to where you don't feel a big hamstring stretch and your back is relaxed. There's not a lot of pressure through the back. So feeling your legs like big telephone poles now. Sinking in the mud of your hip sockets. Start to flex your ankles. And then point your toes. And flex and point. And that sound on the wall is great. If you don't have a free wall in your house, close a door. You can use the back of a door. That's what I do at home. Let's come back to neutral. We're just going to take our right leg over the left, draw your ankle down towards your knee, and then just move your knee towards the wall. Just a small movement. Try to keep your pelvis neutral, so it's not rocking with your knee, or with your leg. And for a little added fun here, you can take your thumb into the hip crease and see if you can make that movement without a contraction in the hip flexor. You're just feeling the outer bum do the work. A contraction in the hip flexor would feel like if you lift your leg up like this, you can feel a contraction here. So that's to find the hip flexor. Okay, let's take that leg back up. Cross the left over right, bring it down, knee towards the wall. And back and forth. So this movement is a external rotation of the hip. Can be small, don't worry about it being big. You just want it small right now. Making sure maybe if that hip flexor is firing, making it even smaller until you don't feel it. And both legs back up. So you're going to move your bum a little bit further away from the wall. So you're almost in a 90 degrees at the knees of the legs. And then straighten your legs back out. Cross the right over left and draw it down. And this time you can start to straighten the left leg, or bend the left leg, and you'll start to feel a hip stretch here into the bum of the right leg. Like a thread the needle pose, but without having to grab onto your leg. Now if your pelvis lifts up off the ground like that, move yourself further away from the wall. And we'll hold for about 3 more cycles of breath. And let's switch sides. Left ankle over. Start to bend the right leg, thread the needle. And let's release. We'll come off the wall into a fetal pose. Let's take 3 big breaths here. Okay, and then coming up, last pose for the sequence, we're going to come to laying on our bellies, and we're going to use the blanket here. So you'll want to make the blanket into a nice fold that's maybe about 6 inches wide or so. And you'll lay that onto your mat or onto the floor. And you'll place your pelvis, so this area of your pelvis, right over the blanket. And then bringing your hands just underneath your head. You can hold your head to one side or forehead to the ground, whatever's more comfortable. I'll cue you here. We'll just be here for about 2 more minutes, but you can stay as long as you like. So as you feel your entire body on the floor, just feel all of the spots in which there's pressure, which there's connection. Notice the sensations of pressure in your body, the contact with the floor. Keep your attention there with the sensations in your body, and maybe starting to notice temperature, movement of air, or the feeling of your clothing. If you've got your neck turned to one side, switch it to the other side now. So as you breathe in, I want you to feel an expansion in your body. You can feel the breath come in, almost like an outward pressure on your skin. Your skin is a container. There's a movement of breath through your belly, your ribs, your pelvic floor, and even beyond. Now as you exhale, start to notice there's a letting go. You're letting go of air, you're letting go of that pressure, and there's a sinking, a heaviness, a grounding. And at the very bottom of that exhale, there's a well of stillness, of relaxation. Like in that pause before you begin the next inhale. See if you can tap into that space of deep relaxation. And keeping your attention very closely on your breath for the next 3 cycles. And you can slowly start to open your eyes, and then very slowly moving yourself to bed. And hopefully your yoga mat's nearby your bed so you can just roll over and get up into your bed. And have a wonderful sleep and a lovely night. And I'll see you again soon. Take care.